Hello everybody and welcome to the next Fluentella pronunciation challenge. Now today we're going to do things a little bit differently than we usually do because what we're going to talk about has some history that I want to share with you, and I think it's very interesting. So let's get into it. Today we're talking about something called the NATO Phonetic Alphabet. What is that? Okay, NATO, NATO, stands for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And it is a phonetic alphabet. Now, what is a phonetic alphabet? You know when you speak, the sounds that you make, that is called the phonetic alphabet. But this phonetic alphabet is not actually a phonetic alphabet. It is a spelling alphabet. Why is this important? Well, when you're on the phone, not face-to-face with someone, it might be difficult to hear them or understand what they mean. And if you need to spell a word correctly, you're going to use the NATO Phonetic Alphabet system. Now, in this case, each letter of the alphabet has a word connected to it so that the person listening can understand exactly what word or letter you're talking about. Okay, now this alphabet is used by the US military, but it has also been adapted by many other institutions. So the civilian, like you and me, civilians, they use these code words to avoid misunderstandings while on the phone or on the radio, whatever it may be. And even airlines and the Navy or vessels, ships, they use these codes. Even in medical contexts, they also use them. So, after many years of studying and doing research and talking to people from 31 different nationalities, they came up with this list, and the words were chosen specifically to avoid confusion. Okay, now something interesting is the fact that there are two of these alphabets. Okay, the reason there are two is the first one, the words has the correct spelling, correct. And then the second one, two of the words are spelled differently for people whose first language is not English, like yours maybe. So the two words that are spelled differently is the first one, Alfa. Now, Alpha is spelled with a PH instead of an F, but it could be confusing for people. So they changed it to an F instead of a PH. And then the other word is Juliett. Now, you would spell Juliet with I-E-T at the end normally, but in this case, they added another T, so a double T at the end, so that French speakers specifically do not get confused, because if a word ends in I-E-T for French speakers, then the T would be silent. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to work through the whole phonetic alphabet, and then I'm going to give you some examples of how you would use it in the real world. You ready? Let's do it. A is Alpha. B for Bravo. C for Charlie. D for Delta. E for Echo. F for Foxtrot. G for Golf. H for Hotel. I for India. J for Juliet. K for Kilo. L for Lima. M for Mike. N for November. O for Oscar. P for Papa. Q for Quebec, R for Romeo, S for Sierra, T for Tango, U for Uniform, V for Victor, W for Whiskey, X for X-ray, Y for Yankee, Z for Zulu. Okay, so if I wanted to spell my name for someone who is listening on the phone, and you would be surprised how many people do not know how to spell Marie, as in M-A-R-I-E. This is how I would do it using the NATO Phonetic Alphabet. I would say M for Mike, A for Alpha, R for Romeo, I for India, and E for Echo. Try it with your own name. I hope you don't have a long name, because then that would go on forever. But that's the whole point of getting people to understand how to spell something. Okay, so the last thing I want to say about these words is that I have heard them used in another setting. When I was young and free, I used to work on cruise ships, and on these ships, they do use these words for specific reasons as well. Now, it's a code word on the ships to not alarm the passengers. So next time you're on a ship and you hear these words being announced, you would know what they mean. Only the cruise, the people who work on the cruise know what they mean, but I'm going to share them with you so you know. If you hear the word Alfa on the intercom system, there is a medical emergency, and that means the medical team needs to respond and go help whoever is in trouble. If you hear Bravo, that means there's a fire somewhere, and then the firefighters need to go and sort that out. If you hear Charlie, then there's a security threat, like a bomb or someone who is armed. Then those people need to go and sort that out. Next, if you hear Delta, then there might be a biohazard. If you hear the word echo, that could be a possible collision with another ship or some kind of natural disaster like a big hailstorm or a thunderstorm. If you hear the word Oscar, which I heard a few times, unfortunately, while I was working on the ships, Oscar means someone is overboard, meaning in the water. And then the last one, Zulu, is used when there is a fight among passengers, crew members, whoever, and then the security personnel would have to sort that out. So if you hear those next time you're on a cruise, you know what they mean. Okay, I hope you found this useful. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.